welcome back to the Pond Hockey Eagles postgame show. We're live from Ocean Casino, and you're watching us on the JAKIB Media YouTube channel or 6abc.com. 31-17, a big challenge that was faced by the Eagles today, and they answered it on offense and especially on defense, where they held the Miami Dolphins, the high-powered offense, which was ranked first in the league in a lot of categories, completely down, flustered Tua Tagovailoa. And they Tyreek Hill with 11 catches but only 88 yards. And that's the way we roll here. The Eagles with another victory. Kayla Santiago joins us with Kayla's Diamond Debate. Kayla, tell us first of all what you are wearing today.
I got some beautiful pearls here, and we've seen this throughout the weeks as well, but we have to go back to them because they are shining so bright here today. You've got the white pearl necklace. That personally is my favorite thing that I've probably ever worn jewelry-wise as well. You got this beautiful gold necklace as well right under it. Then this fantastic bracelet from our friends at Mark Jewelers, and, of course, the pearl ring as well, shining just as much as the Philadelphia Eagles did here today. Let's get back to that Diamond Debate right now here, though. We look at Jalen Hurts at this point of the season, 279 passing yards here today, 3 total touchdowns. But I think we can all agree that Jalen Hurts isn't the same elusive player possibly that he was a season ago. Now, does it worry you to this point of the season? We're in Week 7 at this point, going to Week 8 next week. What is the worry with Jalen Hurts' decision-making? Is it possibly that injury? Seth, I'm going to start with you. Are you worried at all, or do you think that you go to Week 8, you keep on going, and Jalen Hurts is going to be that guy?
I'm not worried at all because, I'm more interested in Jalen Hurts becoming an overall quarterback than I am with his ability to escape pressure. Because if he can operate efficiently from the pocket and get done what they want to get done, and they can be balanced run to pass, then that's what you want. His athleticism is what I want when everything breaks down and there's no other option. When there's man coverage and you're going to scramble to pick up yards because everybody's got their back turned except for the two high or the single high safety, and they're 20, 25 yards down the field. Or in zone situations where you're going to break the pocket and scramble lateral to the line of scrimmage and hope that guys can either come back or go deep, and you can create a play like he did on that pass with A.J. Brown today. So I'm not worried about, his athleticism. What I want to see is I want to see him to continue to perform and continue to be more efficient from the pocket.
And you look at the Bama battle here today, and it definitely goes to Jalen Hurts as well. That connection with A.J. Brown, probably one of the best in the league. At this point, right now, Jalen Hurts really going into his second full season. Where do you rank him as QBs? Is he up there in the echelon of the Lamar Jacksons, the Patrick Mahomes, or do you need to see more?
Listen, to be honest with you, I don't care where he ranks. The only thing I care about is the fact that they're 6-1. And should be 7-1 at this point in time. Just as long as the Eagles keep doing what they're doing, I'm like scrolling on my Twitter and looking at, some of the comments that are on there. Oh, he's starting to look like the broken Carson Wentz. But the problem with the broken Carson Wentz is his team went 4-12 that year. Yep. And the Philadelphia Eagles and, Jalen Hurts, even though he's struggling through some injuries and struggling through some offensive issues right now, he's got, a new offensive coordinator. And then you throw in the fact that his team is 6-1 right now. So that comparison is moot. I don't even want to hear that. That's nonsensical.
Yeah, he got sacked 3 times today, I guess. And then he lost the ball when it was punched out. But he just has this still amazing ability to escape pressure and make a play. Whether he looks a little sluggish speed-wise going on the outside, I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he slowed down a little bit. But he still has that unbelievable ability to squirm out. You can't get this guy most of the time. I don't know how they got him 3 times today. But normally when he gets out of there, and he'll make a play off of it. And to me, that's a tremendous weapon to have.
Jalen Hurts right now, I think that he's playing at the top of his game. We talked about a little bit maybe looking a little bit sluggish on the run, but he's connecting with his guys when he's needed to. I know we've all talked about maybe trying to get that run game in a little bit more, but Tonight, I don't think you really needed that. You look at the A.J. Brown connection, Devontae Smith gets going as well. And Seth, we went back and forth, and I said I was worried about the Miami Dolphins. You said you weren't worried at all. Clearly, you won that battle because the Eagles were able to show up in this game against Miami. Last week, a tough loss against the Jets. They show up here today at the Link at home. Do you feel like this Eagles team is ready to really get through this gauntlet of the schedule? Where do you see them going from here? You got the Commanders up next week.
Well, I mean, it's a good start. You know, I believe that I think the running game is still an important piece of what they do. And even though, you know, Jalen Hurts had 11 of the 34 carries today, according to the stat sheet, I still believe that it's important that they continue to run the football because I believe that it allows everything else in the offense to open up. I mean, in order for Miami to be able to get this run game under control, that meant they had to drop some extra guys, some extra safeties in the box to help get that done. That meant that they had to blitz an extra guy from time to time. That linebacker, is it Jones Jr., number 50 or 52? They brought him on a lot of different pressures to try to get the run game on first and second down to kind of get the run game under control. As long as they keep forcing that issue, then that's one less guy in coverage. That's going to help them with the passing game. But when you just go straight pass, now all of a sudden that opens up a whole can of worms on your quarterback. And again, the more times you put the ball up, the more probabilities you have that you're going to get sacks, strip sacks, interceptions, turnovers. So I like their balance, and I'm not concerned whatsoever, just as long as they stay balanced the way they did tonight.
And on the defensive side of the ball, I think Sean Desai shows everybody that he gets better each and every week. Definitely an upgrade from Jonathan Gannon a season ago. But you look at this defense right now. The secondary is a little bit young, but they had to contain these weapons of Miami here today, and they did exactly that. Your thoughts on the defense overall right now? Because I think coming into the season, you look at that secondary and say, what do the Eagles have? Well, it's been a different secondary almost throughout the entirety of the season, and they've been able to win ball games on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, I think that Sean Desai is doing a fantastic job when you consider how many guys he's had to mix and match all year long. I think the cream is finally starting to rise to the top as far as the young players that he feels like that he can count on, the guys that, you know, that are going to show up. A guy like Eli Ricks played, cut, signed on the practice squad, showed up big today. And, you know, as soon as you can get Sidney Jones healthy and back, get Reed Blankenship healthy and back, so on and so forth, then, you know, you'll be able to move in a positive direction. But I think the defense has been the mainstay. You know, they have brought that passing number down. They were giving up through the first 3 games of the season over 300 yards per game. They brought that number down. They're down in the let me see. Excuse me 1 second. 232 yards. They were right around that number tonight. They're dominating. They came into tonight's game giving up 65 yards per game. You know, they gave up only 45 total tonight. I think when you look at where they are, you know, a lot of the reason why, you know, they're having a lot of success when the defense is struggling is that the offense is struggling, is that the fact that the defense is playing the way that they're playing.
Yeah,
and
you know, Sidney Brown got a start in this game. I didn't hear his name mentioned, which to me is good. That means he didn't make a mistake that was glaring, right? He was pretty steady out there. I was terrified that they had to start Sidney Brown and he would be exploited in a game like this because of his aggressiveness. But he was okay.
Out of necessity, Sean Desai has had to piecemeal, especially the back end of his defense. But here we sit, and you look at the collection of teams they have played. This is a wealth of experience for what's to come for these young players. And when you're talking about getting into those games in mid to late December and into January and hopefully February, you know, they won't be rookies anymore. You know, in a perfect world, Sean Desai would have his frontline guys for an entire game, and these guys would just be sitting and watching, or situational players when they go to 5 or 6 DBs. But they're finding ways to win. Are these young guys making some mistakes? Yes, but they're not making the mistakes that cost them ball games. You know, they're making correctable mistakes, and players always talk about, Seth, always talk to players who talk about how the best way to play this day, to understand this game, is to play this game. You know, to sit on the bench and to watch, you don't learn much of anything. to sit and watch film a lot of times. You don't learn a whole lot. You need to get in there when the bullets are flying for real. And that's where your real trial and error is. And out of necessity, because of all these injuries, these guys every week, young kids coming from out of nowhere, have to step in and play. And luckily, 6 times out of 7, they've been on the winning side of the ledger.
Well, you're 100% correct. You know, you in order to play the game, you got to play the game. You know, you got to be able to see it all, and you got to go through the mistakes. It's like a quarterback. You know, a lot of times quarterbacks don't get to, you know, where they can really operate at optimal levels until they've seen every blitz and every disguise and every coverage and every combo coverage and every half coverage and half zone. And until they see it all, until they experience it all, it's hard for them to, like, stand in there and for everything to slow down and for them to be able to play. Well, everything is like that. It's the same way, you know, on the defensive side of the ball. Until you've seen these routes, until you've seen how they're going to try to attack your technique in certain coverages, you just don't know how to react to it. And, you know, the Eagles, my goodness, they've had their share of having to play a lot of young guys that they might not necessarily wanted to play, but they had to play because of injury. And then when you get your top 2 slot guys, we didn't talk about Josiah Scott. Right off the street, all of a sudden you throw him in at slot corner today. You didn't hear his name either, Mike Missinelli. That's a real good thing.
You know, the funny thing is, the game has changed in so many ways over the decades, but the one constant has been, in terms of players I've gotten to know and interview coast to coast, is they learn more from a teammate than they learn from a coach. And I think this speaks volumes. Obviously, a coach has to teach you the concepts and the schemes, but players have always told me I get more out of talking directly to somebody who's in front of me in the field of battle more so than a coach trying to explain to me what I'm supposed to do.
But you want to know why? Because there's nothing like experience.
Right.
You know, most coaches never played the game. Now, that doesn't mean they can't coach.
Right.
But there's a difference between me showing you X's and O's on a board, okay, and me telling you how to adjust to what's going on, you know, in the moment. You know, it's a difference. It's one thing to give me a game plan. It's another thing to tell me how to execute it.
Right.
You know, because X's and O's don't move on the board, and coaches have the ability to take the dry eraser and move guys where they want to move them.
Right.
But when that guy doesn't line up where you think he's supposed to line up, and he doesn't react the way you think he's supposed to react, and it's live, and he's reacting with aggression, you know, if I can tell you what that's going to be like, if I can show you what that's going to be like, that's a hell of a lot different than just giving me a static board.
Hello.
And welcome
To the Diamond Debate
with Liam and Hillary.
in the heart of Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania.
What you got for us today on your right hand, Hill?
Today we've got a right-hand ring, Liam.
What is that?
It's a ring that you would wear on your right hand.
That's it?
That's all there is to it.
Okay.
It's meant to balance your left hand situation, or if you're not engaged or married, it says, I'm not engaged or married, but I still have this over here that's sparkly.
A lot of other ways you can say that.
No, not if you're trying to wear jewelry. Which
Okay.
one's your favorite?
I love this Art Deco moment. I mean, with these beautiful baguettes and round diamonds. I mean, who wouldn't say no to one of these?
Baguettes are hot right now. People also love an eternity band. It's beautiful.
Great for the other hand.
That's right. So come on down here, for love grows here at Mark's Jewelers.
Every day of the week except Sundays and Mondays.
That's because we are closed.